Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's good to be back here making videos with you, even though the price action isn't really doing what we want to see now, is it? So we've had another big liquidation in the market. Bitcoin made another move down last night, setting new lows from this range. Are we going to keep going down, or can we finally say the low is in and we're going to start pushing up? Now, I've seen some bullish divergences on the charts. We've hit some key levels, Fibonacci wise, moving average wise, and we seem to have got quite a nice bounce today. So let's pull up the charts and take a look at it. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, XRP and SUI, just to update you on what's happened since our video a couple of days ago. So without further ado, let's dive on into it. So if you remember the other day, we said Bitcoin was coming down towards this 200 MA, and we had that below us as support. We did carry on down towards it, tested it, held it for a while, and then this morning, we broke right through it, pushed down strongly. Another liquidation event in the market. But as you can see, we've actually recovered nearly all of the candle now. You see this huge wick, and Bitcoin's daily candle is actually currently fighting to turn green. So we'll see if it can keep pushing up. Maybe it will actually even close in the green. That would be something. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down and closes on or around this 200 MA. But I mean, zooming in at the moment, it's making a strong recovery. We'll see. There's bound to be a pullback at some point, but sometimes these moves can be quite strong and just keep going up. People looking for long entries on a trade. I mean, usually you'd be hoping for maybe some sort of Fibonacci retracement to the golden pocket, but as you can see, we're miles off it at the moment. Maybe, as I say, if we close that day on the 200 MA, maybe that would line up with a retrace down to the golden pocket. It's not perfect, no. I mean, it's hard to say, but what we can see is we're making a strong recovery. At the moment, we're holding the 200 MA. There's a good chance this could be the bottom. 15-minute bullish divergence. Bullish divergence on the hourly. Just about got one in the 4-hour as well. You can see the price coming down, and you can see the momentum there coming up. So bullish divergences on various time frames. It's looking good. I think that was probably it for the bottom. Not saying this candle can't come back down, but I don't think we're going to go below this, especially if we can close the day above the 200 MA. Looking strong. It's also the last day of the month, so bound to be volatile. But yeah, just keep your eye on it. If we can close the day above this 200 MA, I think maybe we might play around here for a bit, or maybe that's it. We can start moving back up. But until we break that 200 MA on the daily, there's no reason to think we're going any lower. So yeah, I think it's looking good. I think that could be the bottom that we've seen this morning for Bitcoin. So very key. Keep your eye on that daily candle and that 200-day moving average. Another thing I thought that was worth mentioning for Bitcoin, on the daily, if you take a Fibonacci retracement from this pivot low up to the high of the range, you can see we've come down into retracement levels and are currently recovering above the 200 MA and above the golden pocket. So that's looking pretty good at the moment, even if you pull it down to the previous pivot low. You can see we've tapped into that 618 and the start of the golden pocket perfectly, almost to the dollar. So good signs there that we've got a nice bounce from those levels. Although it looked on the chart like there wasn't too much support in this range, those retracement levels have acted as support for us, and it's currently looking good. Looking at some other coins, XRP I know we looked at the other day. Let me find a cleaner chart. There we go. You can see on the daily, we actually came down last night, hit the 786 retracement of this range, and quickly recovered it. And actually, at the moment, we're way above it. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if it closed down here. But much like Bitcoin, it's making a very strong and fast recovery on the 4-hour here. Nice candle pulling us back up, hitting a bit of resistance here because we're coming into retracement levels. 786 currently is sort of holding on this retrace. So we're getting a bit of resistance here, but if we can break on up through this 786, push higher, particularly get above the close of this candle here, then that could be the start of the recovery. So we'll see. But as you can see, these 4-hour candles closing on that 786, wicked below it, came back up, recovered. Again, we've got bullish divergences with momentum coming up and price coming down to set lower lows. This is bullish divergence. We've got that on the 4-hour. There is a divergence there on the 1 hour if you go from this low to this low and here to here. Zooming in a bit closer, 15-minute, yeah. So various time frames, bullish divergences all over. We've pumped back up to the 200 moving average, hitting some resistance there at the moment. So again, it's going to be a case of getting above these moving averages and holding. Are we going to form a range here? Are we going to pull back down and close the day and the month at the 786? Potentially. But again, sometimes these moves just keep going and don't give you a chance to get in. So it's going to be interesting today, how we close the day, how we close the month. And then of course, in a couple of days on Sunday, we've got weekly close as well. So bound to be some volatility here over the next couple of days. So just be careful out there. But I think this really does look like we've bottomed now. I'm fairly confident that was it for this move. So we'll see, might pull down as long as we hold these lows. I think it's time to start looking at working our way back up towards these higher prices at the top of these ranges, and likewise for Bitcoin, hopefully work our way back up into the value area here and get above this value area low and start working our way up. So how long is that going to take? Is it going to be really fast? It'd be interesting to see if this candle for the daily does close green. As you can see, it's just right on the verge of turning green at the moment. So we shall see. And just a quick look at SUI. We came straight into this 200 MA. You might recall from the last video, we held it, wicked below it, recovered it. We've come back down, tested it, held it, come back down, tested it, and then we've lost it. Last night, you can see we closed below the 200 moving average here on SUI, and because of the close below the 200 MA, we then saw that dip because we'd lost that support. But again, a big recovery. The candle for the day is actually now green, and we're pushing back up against that 200 daily moving average. So ideally, we want to close back above that to show the strength and flip the moving average back into support. But at the moment it's acting as resistance. We're just below it, so we'll see how it goes. We ideally don't want to close another candle below the 200 MA because that would be considered confirmation that we've lost it. But I think with this strong recovery we're seeing and the candle being green at the moment, things are looking pretty good. So I'm pretty sure we've bottomed here. I think it's time to start looking at a recovery up. Yeah, we did come down maybe a bit lower than expected, especially here on SUI. We were holding that 786 and we completely lost it, and we were halfway to a full 100% retracement of this low from the 786, but we wicked straight back up, closing above it as things stand. Is it going to come back down closer to it? Maybe, but ideally for the most bullish outcome, we want to see this candle close above the 200 daily moving average, and as I say, bound to be a bit of volatility for the next couple of days, but if we can hold this moving average, SUI also looking good for starting a move back up. So just a quick volume profile here. I think we'll take it from here. Looking at that, we're holding this value area low. That's a good sign. Confluence with that 786 Fibonacci retracement. So that's a strong level of support that we've managed to get back above. Do we need to come back and back test it? Maybe, as I say, but as long as we can close above this 786 and this value area low, I wouldn't be too worried about closing below the 200 MA. But we're kind of wedged between this support and resistance at the moment. Maybe we start ranging before we can push up. Maybe we can get straight above the 200 MA and then hopefully put this big drop behind us. But yeah, looking good at the moment. As long as we don't close below this value area low, I think we're looking fine. So still no need to panic. Hopefully that's the last liquidation, and yeah, let's get ourselves back up to the top of this range. I think the fact we're seeing bullish divergences on multiple time frames now, we're holding moving averages in value areas and things, key supports. So I think it's looking good. I think that's probably the liquidation capitulation all over, and with the strong recovery we're seeing, hopefully we can continue to start setting higher highs and higher lows. Not necessarily going to get a straight line up here. It's bound to get pullbacks along the way. But next target is this point of control, and then up to the top of the range again, and see if we can get out and test these highs, set some new all-time highs. Now there is one bearish thing that I've seen a few people mentioning with this recent range at the highs that we've made on Bitcoin, looking like the top from 2021. So rather than just show the bullish arguments that you've just seen, I did want to show you this potentially bearish thing that some people have spotted. So if we zoom back on Bitcoin and we go back to this price action in 2021, it's in reference to the peak that we made here, the move up, the high, the range that we created, the next high, and then this big drop in liquidation, which did lead to a bounce, did lead to holding the 200 MA. But then, as you can see, we came back down, tested it, and eventually we lost it. And that started the beginning of the bear market, where we came all the way down to $15,500, $15,400. So I've taken the bars pattern from this price action, as you can see, and then I've layered it over the current price action that we have been seeing in Bitcoin. And as you can see, it matches quite nicely. We get this move up, the grind on up into the range, the first peak, back to the value area low, back to the value area high, a bit of a pullback into the next peak. And then we work our way back down to the bottom of the range, eventually get this drop below the 200 MA. And as you can see, it lost it quite quickly, and from then we didn't really come back above the 200 MA. It just dropped down and we went into the bear market. So yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, this lines up pretty nicely. So should you be concerned? Well, there's an easy answer to that, and it's all about this 200 MA and the Fibonacci retracements that we saw. So I think so long as we can close above this 200 MA, we're safe. If we can remain above these retrace levels, then again, I think we're safe. But we don't want to be closing consecutive candles below this 200 MA. If we do that, then it's time to reassess, because there's a good chance that we could drop and go down. But it doesn't look to me like we're doing that. We've not seen altcoin season yet, and the altcoins, the way XRP, SUI, other coins like Litecoin, Tron, the way they're holding up in these ranges, and we haven't broken those previous lows that were made, it's looking more likely that we are going to hold these levels and we're going to move up. So my thoughts are that that was the bottom that we've seen, and that we're going to start working our way up from here. If you really want something, one thing you can look at to check whether that's going to be invalidated, I would say it's Bitcoin losing this 200 moving average on the daily. So we must hold this 200 moving average. I think we're going to do that. It might test it for a couple of days. It might shift on up straight out of here. So let's see how it goes. Looking good in my opinion, but just wanted to show you that potential bearish pattern that could be forming, and just to give you the information that it's the 200 MA that you need to keep your eye on to know whether that's likely to play out. So long as we keep closing above it, it's going to hold the moving average, and then the only way for us to go is back up. So we shall see. Time will tell. You should tell fairly quickly, as you saw from that fractal that I laid over. It does lose it pretty quickly, and once it loses the 200 MA, it doesn't come back above it. It just keeps on going down. So we should know in the next couple of days, really, whether this is the start of the bear market, or whether we can hold up and start pushing back up and carry on for some new highs. I'm thinking the latter. I'm thinking we're going up, but time will tell. So keep your eye on that, and we shall see. So there we go. That's what I'm seeing at the moment. As I say, no need to panic. Keep your eye on that 200 moving average on Bitcoin, and hopefully that can tell us that we're going to stay up and start pushing upwards. Anyway, thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed the content or found some value in it, please smash the likes, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, and let anyone you know that this might help know that we're here. and pass on the info. Anyway, great to be back. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you again in another video soon.